You spent 3 years building your SaaS. Slow growth but real. Customers paying. Small team. Everything stable. And then someone copies your idea exactly and sells it for half the price. What happens next isn't what you expect. This is the story of what really happens when your competitor doesn't just copy you, they do it better and cheaper. It's not a story of total failure. It's something much more terrifying. It's a story of how you slowly disappear while watching everything unfold. I'm going to walk you through this step by step, month by month, because understanding the sequence is the only way to prevent it. The setup that everyone misses. Before we get to the copy, let me set the context, because this part matters. You didn't just wake up one day with a working SaaS. You spent years getting here. There were failed projects. There were customers who left. There were months where the money barely covered the servers. But you survived, and eventually, you reached a point where you had something solid. 100 customers, 200 customers, some paying $200 a month, others $500. Consistent revenue, slow but real growth. You weren't rich, but you were stable. You paid your debts. You had people on the team, and every month you saw the number go up a little bit. You were in that specific place where most SaaS should be. You didn't need explosive growth. You just needed to keep existing. Then the news arrived. A new competitor. Someone built exactly what you built. The interface looks similar. The features are practically identical, and the price is 1/3 of yours. Your first thought is, this will blow over quickly. Your second thought is, there's no way it's good if it's that cheap. Your third thought, the one you don't want to admit, is, I'm screwed. Month 1. Pure denial. The first thing that happens is that almost nothing happens. Your customers are still there. Your revenue is still the same. Maybe you lose 1 or 2, but that happens every month anyway. So you convince yourself it's fine, that the market is big enough, that your product is better, that customers understand that price reflects quality. You spend that month telling everyone the competition doesn't worry you. Internally, you're checking their dashboard every 2 hours. They're growing fast, really fast. They're everywhere. You see them on Reddit, on Twitter, in Slack groups. People saying found this cheap alternative, and it works fine. But your revenue stays the same, so you can still lie to yourself. This is the dangerous month because you feel like you're winning while you're actually in a war you haven't acknowledged yet. Month 2. Reality slowly arrives. A customer cancels, says they're switching to the cheap alternative. Then another. Then 2 in the same week. And now these are numbers that matter. Because in a SaaS, each canceled customer is money that disappears permanently. It's not like a one-time sale where you lose a customer and the rest stay the same. It's recurring revenue that will be gone month after month after month. You start reviewing who's leaving, and the pattern is consistent. Small and medium customers. The person paying $200 a month because they needed something, but it wasn't critical to their business. That customer looks at your price, looks at the competitor's price, does the math in their head, and leaves. Not because your product is bad, they leave because it's rational. And here comes the part that hurts. You can't lower the price. Because you have costs, you have people on your team who need to get paid, you have servers, you have real bills. The cheap alternative is new, maybe has no employees, maybe is burning investor money without caring about profitability. So you can't play that game, and that means you'll lose that customer forever. You can't compete on price. You can't outmarket them because they have more money. You can only watch them win. Month 3. Partial. Acceptance. By this point, you've lost 15 to 20% of your customer base. Your revenue dropped visibly. It's not catastrophic yet, but it's real. Now the question you ask yourself is different. It's not will they come back, it's how many am I going to have left? Some customers reach out to you. Some are honest. I love your product, but I can't pay double. Others just disappear. This is where some SaaS try to fight. They add features, they improve the design, they write blog posts saying why they're better. None of that works if the price is still double. Because the customer doesn't need 20% better. The customer needs 200% better to justify double the price. And that's an impossible mountain to climb when your competitor has been in market for 3 months and has funding. But something shifts. Around this 3rd month, you realize you're not fighting for the same customers anymore. The silent shift that changes everything. Somewhere between month 2 and month 4, something changes in your head. You stop thinking about competing on price. You accept that isn't going to happen. You start thinking about who your real customer actually is. And you discover something. Your best customers, the ones paying more, the ones who would never leave just for a lower price, those customers have something in common. It's not necessarily that they're rich. It's that your product is critical to them. It's that they use it every day. It's that if it goes down, their business hurts. Those customers aren't going to switch for a third of the price, because the cost of switching is more expensive than the savings. So the question stops being, how do I compete? It becomes, who am I really serving? And the answer is, a smaller segment, but a more valuable one. Your revenue goes down, but it stabilizes, because the customers who stay are the ones who actually need what you're selling. What happens to your cheap competitor? While you're figuring this out, your competitor is in a situation that looks ideal but is actually toxic. They're growing fast. Every week they have 100 new customers. Their revenue is growing exponentially. But almost all those customers are fragile. They arrived for the price. And when another alternative shows up at an even lower price, and one always does, they leave. The competitor discovers this when they start seeing massive cancellations, or when they realize their CAC, customer acquisition cost, never pays for itself because the customer leaves in 3 months. Some competitors lower the price even more. They become unsustainable. They look for funding. They burn out. They disappear. Others discover the same thing you did. They need a moat. They need to do something that justifies the price. And if they can't, they simply die. The real cost. But here comes what actually hurts, and what almost nobody talks about. Even when your business stabilizes, even when you accept you're going to be smaller, even when you understand your true segment, you're never going back to what you had. Those customers you lost in the first months will never return. Even if the competitor disappears, even if you lower your price, even if you improve your product infinitely. Because losing them changed something. It changed your identity. It changed your narrative. You started as a SaaS in growth. You became a SaaS that lost traction. That's information that travels faster than any product improvement. New potential customers see it. It tells them a story. They hesitate. If you lost customers to a cheap competitor, maybe your product isn't that good. It's unfair, it's irrational, but it's real. And there's the psychological cost. For 3 years you grew slowly. You felt like you were winning. For 3 months of competition with someone cheap, you felt like you were losing. That changes how you work. It changes what features you prioritize. It changes if you hire the next person or wait. It changes everything. What almost nobody builds, the moat. The real lesson of this story isn't build cheap and you'll win. That lesson is false. In the long run, it collapses on itself. The real lesson is, if you don't build a moat, you're worth what the other 10 things like you are worth. A moat is what makes your product hard to copy, hard to replace, hard to abandon. It could be accumulated data. The longer a customer uses your product, the more data they have inside. Switching means losing that history. Migrating is complicated. Deep integration. If your SaaS is integrated into the customer's workflow, switching is painful, not just expensive. Community. If users build community inside your platform, that's a moat. They don't leave for price. User experience so good that switching is a step backward. This is rare, very rare. But when it happens, it's powerful. Network effects. The more customers using your product, the more valuable it becomes for each one. But what's almost never a moat is being first or having low price. That evaporates in seconds when someone else shows up. My honest opinion. If your SaaS doesn't have a clear moat, you're in a fragile position, no matter how much money you're making right now. Cheap competition isn't the threat. The threat is that someone wakes up one day, sees you're making money, copies exactly what you do, and does it better or cheaper. And when that happens, there's no technical defense. There's no blog post that saves you. There's no feature that competes with a price that's 1/3 of yours. The only thing that works is having built something worth the premium price, and that requires a moat. Some of the most resilient SaaS I know have weak moats. A product that's slightly better, a small but loyal community, an industry standard that became incumbency. None are unbeatable, but all survive cheap competition. The ones that didn't build a moat, the ones that trusted the market would understand the difference, those disappeared. The timeline matters. I want you to understand something. This isn't a sudden collapse. It's a sequence. Month 1, nothing visible changes but the war started. Month 2, you lose the battle. Month 3, you accept the new reality. By month 6, you've accepted your smaller, more valuable customer base. By month 12, you're either profitable at the smaller scale or you've given up. The speed of the fall varies. Some SaaS collapse in weeks, others take years, but the pattern is the same. And the insidious part is that during months 1 through 3, you still sleep okay. You still believe you can fix it. You still think a great product will win. By month 4, you know it won't. And that's when the real psychological cost arrives. What you should do right now. If you're building a SaaS, or if you have one without a clear moat, here's what actually matters. First, define your moat before someone forces you to. Is it network effects? Is it accumulated data? Is it integration depth? Is it brand trust? Is it something else? If you can't answer in under 10 seconds, start building one now. Today, not tomorrow. Second, understand your real customer. Not your aspirational customer, your real one. The one who would never leave for price. Third, don't optimize for price competition. Don't make decisions assuming price is your advantage. Price is sand. It shifts instantly. Fourth, build things that are expensive to leave. Each feature should increase switching costs. Each integration should make migration harder. Each piece of data should become more valuable over time. Fifth, accept that you will compete with cheap alternatives. This isn't a maybe. This is a certainty. So prepare for it now while you still have time. The uncomfortable truth. When someone copies your SaaS and does it cheaper, what happens is something you don't see coming. You don't lose all your customers. You lose half. Keep the ones who really need you, and discover you're in a much smaller business than you thought. That smaller business can be sustainable, can be profitable, can be genuinely yours. But it's never what it would have been if you'd built the moat from day one. And that would have been is what hurts. Not as much as a complete failure, but more than many other things that can happen in this industry. The real lesson. The question isn't, how do I win against cheap competition? The real question is, what do I build that would hurt to leave? If you answer that question before someone forces you to, you'll survive. If you don't, you won't. Not because you're bad at building products, but because you built something copiable instead of something valuable. The difference between those two things determines everything. So ask yourself right now, what's your moat? If you can't answer in 5 seconds, you need to start building one. Not next week, not next month, now. Because the day cheap competition arrives, and it will, the answer to that question will be the difference between a business that grows slowly but survives, and a business that disappears. Final thought. Your SaaS isn't vulnerable because of the product. It's vulnerable because of what the product lacks, a reason to stay that goes beyond price, features, or first mover advantage. If you're in this position right now, watching cheap competition eat your lunch, it's not too late. You can still build a moat. You can still find your real customers. You can still survive. But it's harder than doing it from the beginning. So if you haven't started building yet, start now. And if you're watching this and you're not building anything yet, take this as a warning. Moats aren't luxuries. They're survival. Please subscribe if this hits something real for you. Every video I make is about patterns that repeat in this industry. The ones that kill businesses. The ones that save them. The ones nobody talks about but everyone should understand. Hit that.